Hello, I'm Jamila Musayeva, an international social etiquette consultant and author of Etiquette books, Etiquette, the Least You Need to Know, and Afternoon Tea Etiquette. Every month, I do a video analysis of an etiquette lesson learned from a particular movie. By joining the Etiquette Movie Club, you can view over 20 different movie analyses because this is a more in-depth analysis of etiquette and general life lessons learned. Today's video is very different from everything I have filmed for Etiquette Movie Club because today's video is not a movie but rather a wedding ceremony, and as you have guessed, some of my patrons have suggested that I do it. It's a video analysis of a wedding etiquette of a Jordanian royal family, in particular the wedding of Prince Hussein to now Princess Rajwa. Let's take a look at the videos that I found on YouTube as well as some of the photos from the wedding to analyze what were certain wedding etiquette rules here in play. So first things first, I want to give a little bit of information that Jordan is a country in the Middle East that is predominantly Muslim, which means there are certain cultural, religious understandings that are particular to this region. However, when you are watching this wedding ceremony, you will never really be able to point out that this is a traditional Muslim country because from the wedding ceremony, you're going to see that it's very much secular, very liberal in the way that the guests are dressed, not just the guests, the hosts are dressed, as well as how they're greeting the guests, and just general play of the whole ceremony is very liberal to what is usually considered, so to speak, traditional Muslim. So first things first, in the ceremony actually took place at 4 p.m., which is not an evening time, it's a late afternoon ceremony, and this is the wedding, so to speak, the marriage ceremony. It's called Katib al-Kitab, which means it is basically reciting of the verses and of certain words that solidify the marriage, which is then finished up with a signing of the contract, and that is the so to speak the official wedding ceremony. Then there is a reception part where the guests dance, play, eat, all of that. So we are looking right now at the marriage ceremony. So we see that the groom walks in alone. The guests stand up as soon as he enters the venue where the ceremony is going to be placed. We see that the guests rise up to greet him. This is, I think, traditional to every single wedding ceremony, be it Hindu, be it Jewish or Christian. As soon as the bride and groom walk in, the guests rise up to show their respect towards the main players of this ceremony. We see that Prince is actually wearing a black and white and red militia regalia with his gold embellishments. He has actually served in Sandhurst Military Academy and he is in the military, so we see that he is wearing the uniform for this particular occasion. We see that he first approaches his dad, the king, Abdullah. He salutes him first because, you know, that's a very official relationship is being initiated. And then they go for a hug and they kiss on both cheeks, which is very traditional, something that you're going to see throughout this whole ceremony, that the way they're greeting each other is with a kiss on both cheeks. And then we see that he kisses his dad on the right shoulder. This is something actually done to show the respect towards the elder person, to show how much, you know, he is appreciated, and it's another step further away from the hug or just the kiss on the cheek. It's sort of even more deeper appreciation to the person in front of you. So he kisses his dad on the right shoulder, and then we see that Rajwa enters the hallway. So Rajwa is followed by two sisters of Prince Hussein, and they walk down with Hussein's younger brother Hashim. So Hashim is the one to accompany her on the way to her marriage ceremony. So it's usually a male figure. So in a Christian ceremony, we often see the father. If there's no father, then stepfather, some male, elderly male to accompany. But here it's Hashim, the younger brother of Hussein, who's accompanying Princess Rajwa. So we see that Rajwa is actually wearing fully clothed gown. So because this is a more religious ceremony, everything should be covered: shoulders, décolleté area, arms. So we see that she's wearing a very traditional clothing, very beautiful Elisab designed gown. And she's actually wearing flats, which is something I found very cute in this particular choice of shoe. Maybe because she's taller than Prince Hussein and she doesn't feel comfortable wearing something higher. Maybe she just felt more comfortable wearing flats. I don't know what the story is, but I found it very cute and delicate and elegant. And we see that her toes are closed, which is the way that a traditional formal wear should look like, with the toes completely covered. So as I said, this wedding ceremony, this this marriage ceremony is taking place in Zahran Palace in Amman, and we see that it's quite a small venue, so very selected guests, particularly the royal family members of different countries, are attending this particular ceremony. We see that the marriage contracts are being signed, and we see that the witnesses are actually their respected fathers. So from Prince Hussein's side, it's his father, King Abdullah, and from Rajwa's side, it's her father. And Sheikh Ahmed Al Khalayla was in charge actually of the ceremony, and the couple together, they recited Fatiha verses from Quran, and then he says something that King Hussein repeats, and the same does Rajwa's father. So the two male figures recite the verses that are said out loud by Sheikh Ahmed, and then the contract is actually signed. You see that when they put the rings, you hear this vocal sound of la 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 la. This is actually the sound that is called zagharuta, if I'm correctly pronouncing it, and in English it's called ululation. So la la la, making that la 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 sound. So what they do is they place their palms so facing down, covering their mouth, and then sticking their tongue out and moving side to side very, very quickly to make this la 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 sound. It's actually the sound that is mostly or usually made by females. You will rarely see a male doing that sound. So it's a female voices, expressing their joy and excitement. And this is the sound you will hear at a wedding, bridal shower, henna party, baby shower. Very rarely you might hear in certain regions those sounds at the funeral, especially if the deceased is someone who was young and he was not yet about to get married. So some kind of it's a strong emotion that being conveyed with this ululation. So we hear that once they exchange the rings, there's a very loud ululation by the female voices in the background. Once they've exchanged their vows and the promises, we see that then Hussein turns to his father, and he actually again goes to kiss his dad on the forehead as a sign of respect, and then again he kisses him again on the right shoulder, and she goes for a double cheek kiss for her father, a prolonged one on one cheek. If you pay attention to it, I think it's a very particular to Saudi to kind of give the cheek, place it close to each other, and leave it on a hold for a little bit. And then the two then proceed to kiss their mothers. We see that the prince kisses his mother-in-law first, while Rajwa kisses the queen, and then he is the one that goes back to his mother. And with Rajwa's mom, he only kisses her on double cheek kiss, but with his own mother, he kisses her hand first and then kisses her on her cheeks. I think he takes an extra step to show extreme admiration and respect to his own parents, to his dad, by kissing his shoulder, and the same he does for his mom, but kissing her hand instead. Once this Katib al-Kitab, so the marriage ceremony, Islamic marriage ceremony, is being done, the couple now left the place, and they're going to the second part of the wedding ceremony, which is the reception. And we see that they traveled, actually, prince and princess, they traveled in 1948 Range Rover that was customized for the visit of Queen Elizabeth to Jordan. So they're traveling in those cars, nothing modern, rather something that shows the tie between Jordan and UK, and sort of kind of resembling of monarchic values and traditions. This royal procession is actually part of the Hashemite traditions that's dating back to 1946. You can also see here the images of Prince printed out, and they're hanging along the whole Conway Road. There are a lot of militia guards that are accompanying them on the route, and there are people outside that are celebrating, expressing their joy. You've seen this probably in the celebration of the UK royal family marriages. Whenever the monarchs are getting married, it's the party time for the people of that country. So that day is usually a day off. People are out and about in the streets celebrating. Public transportation on that day was free, so people could actually come from areas and join to celebrate this beautiful occasion. You see that then they went to this banquet reception. Again, as I mentioned, this hosted as the sources are citing 1,700 guests from all over the world. A lot of members of the royal family, including the royal family members of Spain, of Japan, of Brunei, of Saudi. A lot of presidents or members of the family. So this big big reception took place at Al Hussein Palace. We see that Rajwa actually changed her outfit. So she changed her dress. She wore this before, this long sleeved gown, completely closed. She's now opted for a shorter sleeved gown, but then she's wearing long wide sleeves, which I think add that very beautiful romantic whole look to her bridal look. So based on what the guests are wearing, we see that this is a white tie event. We see that, you know, the white tie is actually the most formal dress code, and this is something you'll be expected to wear for, say, a royal family member wedding or a banquet in their honor. I also noticed that some guests were actually men. Some men opted for a black bow tie. Other women went with everything that is about white tie, but they wouldn't strictly follow the rest of the rules. For example, they would have their hair down, but then yet wear their tiaras and some other medallions and embellishments, which is something you'd only wear to a white tie event if you have those. You wouldn't wear it to a black tie event. I think as the fashion and traditions are kind of going away and fashion changes and evolves, these rules have become more lenient even in the royal family member household. You see that, you know, something that was strictly a must for a white tie event, which meant like your hair had to be in an updo no matter what. You can wear your tiara, your gold embellishments, your white gloves, but your hair had to be up. Now you see this variation. They wear everything but put their hair down, or, you know, wear an open toe shoe, you know, open their shoulders, which is something you're not supposed to do for a white tie event. Among the guests, again, we see members of royal family of Europe, of Asia and Middle East, and we see that there's a receiving line. So receiving line is when the hosts are standing close to each other, and the guests are first coming in one by one, delegation by delegation, country by country, or couple by couple. They greet the members or the hosts of the party, and then they are accompanied. Someone else picks them up at the end of the receiving line and then accompanies them to the dinner table or maybe a pre-reception area. If you pay attention to the way Queen Rania and King Abdullah are greeting their guests, you wouldn't necessarily understand that this is a Muslim country, because in a traditional value household, you would not expect a foreign man or a man who's not a member of the family to come so close to proximity of a woman, let alone handshake or kiss on both cheeks. But we see that this is being done to all male and female guests of that are arriving to the receiving line. So we see King Abdullah kissing on both cheeks and hugging female guests, the same Queen Rania is doing to male guests. This is something that I think is very different from what you would expect in a traditional Middle Eastern wedding ceremony. Also, regarding the dress code, I have received a lot of questions. When I was attending a wedding, a Jewish wedding of a friend of mine, I wore a black dress. I was not the only guest wearing a black dress, but I got a lot of messages on my Instagram asking if it was okay, why I opted for a black color, because black color is a big no-no, and I didn't understand why people had this kind of reaction for mainly a lot of reasons. There were other guests wearing black as well. There were no color restrictions in terms of black not being a party color, and also if men mostly wear black suits, black tuxedos, you know, black pants, black whatever for a wedding, why then it's not okay for women to wear black? If black is not a color for the particular occasion, then it shouldn't be a color for both genders. This is one. If it's particular about the color choice, then we have to be mindful that none of them could wear black. But also I noticed that, you know, I think this was a great example of how Queen Rania, so the mother of the groom, opted for a black dress for her son's wedding. We actually see that Queen Rania really loves wearing a lot of different vibrant colors, but she opted for a black one for this particular occasion. And we see that she wasn't the only person wearing black color. Actually, the daughter of Joe Biden, Ashley, she was accompanying her mom to the wedding, and she opted for a black cocktail dress. So if one could say this is perhaps particular to Middle East, that people are okay wearing black, that's not the case, because we see that Ashley, who is American, she's also wearing a black dress to the wedding. So I am not sure where that understanding comes from that you cannot wear a black color to a wedding, because if wedding dress code is a black tie, a lot of the most elegant gowns come in a black color. You can, if you don't feel comfortable wearing completely black, you can always accessorize it with, you know, more bold accessories, with a belt, maybe some kind of a scarf, a shawl. You can use a red lipstick to elevate your look if you're not feeling comfortable wearing completely black. But it's completely okay to wear a black color to a wedding unless it states otherwise at the dress code. Thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. I hope that you enjoyed it, and please do let me know down in the comment section below what are some other video suggestions that you have for me. I'll be more than happy to read and take them into account when preparing my Patreon movie or just video analysis. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!